Everyone's heard the opening lines before. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, the Star Wars universe was born. But what does that mean? Star Wars fandom is a lot of things to a lot of people, from the children who watch the new cartoon series to those who grew up with the original trilogy. For some in the Tri-State area, the epitome of Star Wars fandom is what they call the Academy.
The Academy is a group of people that are a combination of Star Wars fans and stunt choreographers, martial artists, thespians, actors, and we get together and we study and perform lightsaber combat as seen in Star Wars.
And he does mean study. From training what they call younglings to perfecting your forms and developing your backstory, there's always more to learn at the Academy. But like any good team, training is only part of the total experience. The Academy is a competitive group just like any sports team. They live for the chance to show other groups what they can do.
When you first start, you go about training by basically mimicking whatever it is your master does. Like, you do this this way, and it's a lot of repetitive. As you get up in ranks, you start developing your own style and blending your forms together, so training becomes a bit different from when you're a Padawan to when you're actually a master or an elder master, where you're learning from dueling, whereas when you're a Padawan, you're learning just learn the forms, learn the things you're supposed to say and do.
The dueling is split up to where, depending on how you're set, faction and class within the group, you get different forms. There are 7 total forms that we have access to in the group. And depending on which class, you get certain forms.
The combat system is fairly simple in design. Different forms have different what we call legal strike zones, and those are vital parts of the body that we consider to be a finishing strike if you strike them at that place in the right way. And different forms, their goals are different, their style is different, they go for different strikes, and some go for vital areas, some go for limbs, some pay attention to the upper part of the body, some have a tendency to be more effective on the lower half of the body. Each form is different. And that's really what adds the color and the variety to each individual person is those different forms and how they work together and interweave to create a system that it's very much kind of like point system like you would see in a martial arts competition. Different parts of the body are worth different amount of points if you strike them. It's very similar to that.
But dueling isn't all the Academy is focused on.
The convention in Huntington was pretty fun. Everyone put some work into it and came up with some good choreographies, some better than others. I think everyone would agree.
While the Academy doesn't do anything that other groups aren't also doing, they are one of a kind when it comes to live-action role-playing.
In the Academy, we use a class system to determine how we train our students. We have 2 factions. We call them factions, light side and dark side, Jedi and Sith. And each faction has 4 classes, and when you join the Academy, you're put into one of those 4 classes. That class tells us how we train you, what forms you use, what your force powers are, what color your lightsaber is, the way you fight, the way you think. Each class has a very specific way of thinking and a very specific strategy as far as combat goes. It's that class system that gives people, an identity, gives them some individuality. If everybody was studying the same thing, it would be kind of boring after a while. But every class, it's kind of designed to be kind of like a rock, paper, scissors game. Some classes are stronger against others, while they're weaker against a different kind of class. And so it all keeps things counterbalanced and keep things moving in motion and keeps things from being redundant.